All right, for this lesson, we're going to be covering converting between decimals and fractions or mixed numbers, and this is IXL code 2RC. So the first example we're going to do, it says write negative 0.9 as a fraction. All right, so one thing you want to keep in mind, if you're just converting between fractions and decimals, then the sign is not going to make any difference at all. The sign's going to stay the same. So regardless of what our answer it is, it's going to be negative. All right, so to convert a decimal to a fraction, one easy way to do it is to just put the decimal over 1. So that technically now he's a fraction. However, we can't leave a decimal in the numerator or denominator, so we need to get rid of that. We're going to move the decimal over one place to make that negative 0.9 or 9. And we also have to move the decimal in the denominator one place, and we're going to make that a 10. So negative 0.9 as a fraction would be negative 9/10. All right, let's look at another example. How do you write 1/6 as a decimal? Converting from fractions to decimal is a little bit trickier, but just keep in mind that this bar right here means divide. As a matter of fact, this division symbol, if you look at it, looks like a little fraction with something on top, something on the bottom. So we could use a calculator, but we're going to just do long division here. So 6 will not go into 1. So we know that it's going to be less than 1. So we're going to have to add something to this. So we're going to carry up and put a decimal there. We're going to add a 0. 6 will go into 10 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract 4. Carry down another 0. 6 will go into 40 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry down, subtract. Carry down 0. We get 40. 6 will go into 40 6 times. And we could keep doing this forever, and it's not going to change. It's always going to be 6. So we ended up with a repeating decimal. And you can denote that with a bar over top of whatever repeats. In this case, the 6 repeats. So the answer is going to be 0.16 with a repeating bar. Now in IXL, you can't type in that bar, so one like this is probably going to be multiple choice. So that's your answer right there. All right, now we have what looks like a huge, scary fraction. But again, math rules never change. Once you know how to do a math rule, it never changes. 9 and 49/50 as a decimal is going to be 9 point something, because we have a whole number here of 9 and we have some fraction. So that's not going to change with a decimal. We're still going to have a 9 as our whole number and then some part of 100% here. So let's figure out what the decimal is. Again, we can use division, so we're going to divide 50 into 49, and it will not go one time. That's the whole point of having this part of the fraction. It's going to be less than 1, so it will not go one time. So we're going to need to put that decimal there. And we can add a 0 onto the end. So now we can divide 50 into 490, and that will go 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 0 is 0. Subtract, and we get 40. All right, we can't divide 50 into 40, so we're going to have to bring down another 0. 50 into 400 will go 8 times exactly, because 8 times 5 is 40, so 4. And then 8 times 0 is 0. So our answer is 9.98. And again, you can use a calculator to do this, once you understand the process. I don't want you to rely on a calculator for everything, but it is a tool that we can use, so make good use of it. Just understand that this is the same as 9 plus 49 over 50, because those are two different, you have the whole number plus part of another number. So if you're going to do this in the calculator, you only want to do the fraction part. So you would type in 49/50, and you should get 0.98. And then don't forget that that is part of the final answer. That's not just the answer. All right, so this one has a little bit of everything mixed in. We have a negative, we have a whole number, and we have a fraction. Keep in mind, the negative doesn't change. If all you're doing is converting it from a fraction to a decimal, you're not doing anything at all that should mess with the negative. So that's going to be in your answer. If it's in your original problem on this one, it's going to be in your answer. So again, that's the same as -5 plus 7/9. So all you want to worry about converting is the 7/9. So we're going to divide 9 into 7. It will not go evenly one time, so we're going to do long division. And go 9 into 70, which would be 7. 7 times 9 is 63. 70 minus 63 is 7 again. Carry down another 0. 9 into 70 is going to go 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63, and we're stuck in an infinite loop again. So this is going to be -5.7 repeating forever. And that's what the bar means. That tells us it repeats forever. All right, this one, don't let it scare you. There's nothing in here we didn't just do. The only thing is the numbers are bigger. -851 and 14/15. We're going to convert that to a decimal. So the negative stays, the whole number part stays. All we have to do is figure out what 14/15 is as a decimal. 15 into 14, it will not go, so we have to add a 0 and add our decimal. 15 into 140 looks like about 9. 9 times 15, 9 times 1 is 90, 9 times 5 is 45, that's 135. Subtract, we get 5. 15 will not go into 5, obviously, so we have to bring down a 0. If we did get a number here that 15 would go into, then we'd have to start over and make this number one bigger. So if we said 8, for example, and we put 120 here and we subtracted and got 20, we know that we could go in one more time. So instead of 8, it would have been 9. All right, so 15 into 50 goes 3 times, and that would be 45. We're left over, when you subtract, you're left with 5. 15 won't go into 5, so bring down the 0. 15 will go into 50 3 times. 45. Subtract, we get 5, and we're stuck in that infinite loop again. So we know that that's repeating. So that's going to be 9 and 3 repeating. So that's going to be your answer. All right, write 4.35 as a mixed number. So 4.35 as a mixed number. The whole number part's going to stay. So again, the part in front of the decimal, the whole number part is going to stay. After the decimal, we put over top of a fraction here. Now we have two numbers after the decimal, so we're going to put a 1 with 2 zeros. So 35 hundredths, 35 hundredths. Now, technically this is correct, but it does need to be reduced The whole number is not going to change. But we can reduce this. I can see right away that 5 will go into both of these. So if we divide both sides by 5, or I'm sorry, not both sides, but divide the top and the bottom by 5, we can reduce it that way. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5 is 20. All right, 7/20ths will not reduce any further. So that is your answer right there. Now you can check this in the calculator. So if you divide 7 by 20 in the calculator, it should give you 0.32.